Hello, hello. Lois here with a tip. Somebody asked me a question. How soon can they drive once they land in Canada? And I thought that was a good question, and I thought that I could answer and share it with other people who are also looking forward to coming to Canada. Right? So, you can drive as soon as you want when you come to Canada. But that's going to come with a few conditions. So pay attention. So, what I tell people who are looking forward, who are preparing to come to Canada, what I tell them is get ready. You know, a year before you come here or a few years before you come here, it's nice to have that driving license. It's just like a passport. You know, it's good to have a passport because you never know when an opportunity is going to arise and then you're rushing to go get your passport. I think a driving license is also something really, really good, even if you don't have a car. I think it's something really important that you need. You just go get it. Get yourself a driving license from wherever, whichever country you're from. Go get yourself a driving license. It'll come in handy, especially when you land here. The reason I say that is I'm going to break down driving in Canada before I tell you how you can use your country's driving license to your advantage once you land, so that you can have a good landing and you can hit the ground running without feeling like you're constricted, like you're restrained, like you just have things which are not working your way. So what I want to say here is driving is really important here. And I live in Calgary, and we have a wonderful transit system which works to some limitations. So don't get me wrong. We have trains and we have buses. So the trains have dedicated lines, like they go southwest, northeast, northwest, and where did I forget? That one. Northwest, northeast, southeast, and southwest. Yes. So that is how the trains go. But then we also have a wonderful bus network. But you cannot have buses that go exactly where you're going. So you at times realize that unless you live along the train lines, you're going to have to need maybe drive to the train station and park, take the train to go where you're going, or take a bus, take you to the train station, you take the train and go wherever, or just take 2-3 buses to get you where you're going. And the buses at times are not so frequent, especially in off-peak hours. So you find that you may end up taking a lot of time in traffic just commuting. And commuting, I don't think commuting is the best use of your time. No, especially when you just sitting in a bus. Okay, you can read and watch funny videos, but you want to be able to utilize your time in a better way, in a more fulfilling way, in a more productive way. So I don't think that you won't be sitting in buses and trains forever. So what I mean, there are times when you just want to go from point A to B, and driving is 10-15 minutes, even 20 minutes. But believe you me, when you have to take 2 buses and a train to get there, it takes 1.5 hours. It takes a lot of your time because you wait for your bus, it comes, and then you go wait for the other bus, it comes at its scheduled time, and then you take the train. So you find that you're losing a lot of time and you end up being tired, and you get frustrated. So you need a car in this country. Everybody needs a car. I usually tell people that cars here are not luxuries. No, it's not a luxury. A car is a basic need. A car is only after food, after shelter, after clothing. Then comes a car. You are going to need a car to be able to move from point A to B, to go to work, to get at times take your children to school, drop them at daycare, you go for programs, you know, you want to enjoy life and you do not want to spend all your hours in transit. Okay, that's it. Now that we know just how important a car is, let us now go back to you having a driving license. So the system works here that everybody starts from grade 7 driver's license. That is what my 14-year-old would get. So at 14, you get a grade 7 driving license. And the system requires that you stay with a grade 7 license for 2 years. And to get the grade 7 license, sorry, let me just go back there. To get the grade 7 license, you read a book. So there's a book that you read about the rules, the regulations. It's just all theory. It's not telling you about where to turn right and all that, but it's learning the system, the driving system, the signs, the rules, the repercussions, you know, like the penalties, the demerits you get for driving without a license. So you do that and you take 2 good years with a class 7, and you cannot drive on your own. When you have a class 7, you can only drive supervised, right? So after class 7, after you get that class 7 and you have it for 2 years, at the end of 2 years, then you can do the class 5 GDL driver. Yes, so that one requires you to read another book and to go to class and also take some driving lessons. And now, the moment you pass that, you're welcome to drive. You can drive people. There's a limit because there are various classes of driving. You know, you're going to find that there's also a higher level of grade 7, whereby you can carry more people, or you know, you have less demerits, stuff like that. So I'm not going to talk about those other classes of driving licenses, because there's even a class 1 for people who can drive trains and stuff like that. So what I mean is, so now that you've spent 2 years, you need to spend 2 full years without being able to drive. Who has 2 years, 2 full years? You landed in Canada, you know, maybe you don't know people, right? You don't know anybody. And even if you know people, people are busy. People have families. People have lives. They have work. Their work is not to stay home and drive you from point A to B. You landed here. You want to hit the ground running. That's what we said, you know. You want to come here. You have everything. Your driving license is some of the things that you have put together. You know, when you're putting your ducks in a row, it's one of them. Plus money. You know, you need to bring money here when you come, the same way you need to bring a driving license. So you bring them, and now you want to be able to come immediately. You are able to go apply for your C number, get your health, you know, go get, you know, stuff like everything. Like, you need work, my dear. There are no jobs here waiting for you. You need to come look for work, right? You need to look for work. You need to get groceries. You need to go to church. You need to learn and know places. So how will you do those things if you cannot drive? It can be very, very, very frustrating, and especially in the winter season, because it's really cold. I remember when I came in winter and I didn't have a car. It is cold. It's cold, and you're outside and you're waiting for a bus, and buses get late. They get delayed because of snow. So maybe you're waiting for 20 minutes. It's your first time here. You've not had this kind of cold unless you came from Russia, you know? So it can be too much. So you want to make sure that you are comfortable. And when you're comfortable, when you land here, you are able to thrive. You are able to thrive. So back to your license from your country. So when you come with your license, you should go to the registry and do class 7 immediately. You can do that within 1 month, 1 full month. You can be able to do your grade 7. After you do your grade 7, now go to school and do grade 5 immediately, because you already have your driving license from your country. Now that is the advantage. You are able to bypass the 2-year waiting period. So within those, immediately you're done, so long as you can be able to study for grade 5 and you go to a good driving school, let me tell you, go to a good driving school. Go learn about the rules here. They are different from wherever you're coming from. You know, if you do not want to find yourself in the wrong side of the law as far as driving is concerned, because driving is your right, but it's your responsibility. It's a huge responsibility. And it comes with a lot of repercussions if you mess around. You do not want to be killing people on the road. You don't hit pedestrians. You want to know who has rights at what time. You want to know playground zones. You want to know about courtesy driving, you know, in four-way drives. You need to know those. So go to a good driving school and pay $500 or wherever. Just go to a good driving school, pay that, and do defensive driving. Do everything that you can be able to do. And I tell you, simply because you brought your license, you have been able to bypass 2 years of waiting. So in 2-3 months after you arrive here, you could be driving, you could be having a car, and guess what? Life is easier. It's manageable. I'm not saying that a car is everything, but once now you're able to drive, you can buy a cheap car from Kijiji. Come on, there's so many cars here. You don't even have to go to the dealer to get a new car. You can get a $500 car from Kijiji, you know, to get you from point A to point B. Or you can go to a dealer and get a new car, you know, whichever suits you. It's all up to you. It depends on the kind of money that you have. But the main thing that I'm talking about is you being able to drive as soon as you can once you land here. Because even if you know people, nobody has time. You know, you can be a burden. You can be a burden when you're always calling people to pick you up and drop you. And then unless you have a lot of money, it's not realistic to be taking Uber everywhere like 4 times a day. You know, go to school, come back, you know, pick kids, daycare, all that. It can be very costly to take Uber or to take a cab. So just to make sure, my goal is to make sure that when you come here and you land on the right foot. And I mean on the right foot. You know, you are able to establish yourself as soon as you can. You are able to have a fulfilling life. You are able to thrive as soon as you can, because with a car, you are able to look for jobs as soon as you can. You are able, if you have children, you are able to enlist your kids for activities, because believe me, you do not want idle kids at home. You want kids who can come, go to the library, go to the recreation center, go play a sport, you know, do an activity, you know, volunteer somewhere. How are you going to be able to take your kids to these places if you're not driving? It's very hard. And it can be hard for you and for your child. So kids need to come here and get busy. They want to play soccer, they want to play football, they want to play hockey. You know, they want to do all those interesting things. You want to go to church, you want to do groceries, you want to look for work, you want to go for interviews, and you want to be able to do that on your own without having to rely on other people or rely on a system that may or may not work. So bring your license. Okay? Any question, let me know what questions you have. I'm here for you, you know. Let me know any question, and please, you know, feel free to share my video and subscribe to my channel. All right? Keep it here. Bye.